Okay, this is gonna be a long stitch, so if you're not here for it, just like, let's talk about ignorancy, because I feel like I shouldn't have to address this. But before y'all come at me, I am Jamaican, Trinidadian, and I live in the US. So my perspective on things are gonna be a little different, because if you know Jamaica, Jamaica is completely different from Trinidad, because they are both located in the Caribbean, but they are completely different from one another. So they still share like similar cultural ties, but Trinidad is more like Indian, more African, just more mixed, and then Jamaica's like completely more like African, and their music's different. So get that, and the food's different. Everything that's done is completely different. So that's just a quick PSA. Before we also get into it, I've been to Jamaica twice, and I've been to Trinidad once, so I can kind of have an opinion on this while living in the US. What I'm here to talk about is like ignorancy can basically go both ways, because I've been seeing so many things online on people like making comments on the US and saying like, oh, Americans are stupid, oh, Americans all voted for Trump, this, that, da, 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 da. Americans the reason, da, 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 da. There is 335 million citizens in America. 335. That is a big number. And out of that big number I just said, at least 10 million of the people there are the one that you will find, and 10 million is a big number. At least 10 million of them are the ones thinking like that, or at least 50 million are thinking like that. And what I mean thinking like that, thinking of ignorancy and thinking about talking shit about others and stuff like that. Not everyone's gonna have the same personality, is what I'm saying. So if you're like in Europe and you're saying shit about the US, or like just like, oh, they're so stupid, they're so this, you're so that, you do realize that's also ignorant too, right? If you hadn't been to the US, and it's not even like you can be like, oh, and this is my take on it. You can't even be like, oh, I don't like the US because of this and that. If you only been to places like Miami, Atlanta, or New York, something's like wrong, because it's like, this place is huge. That's like me going to Australia and staying in Sydney and then saying I don't like Australia. You get that? But anyways, what I'm saying is like, you can't, like, I've seen people that go like, the US is a place where it's a Gucci belt, this, da, da, da. You can't put what the government is doing onto our ideologies, or you can't say like, oh, Americans think like this, Americans are stupid, Americans are this, Americans are that. You're doing the same thing, essentially. While on top of you talking about the US doing it, and American citizens supposedly like being ignorant, you're also being ignorant to other countries too. Because I've seen the shit y'all said about India, I've seen the shit y'all said about China, I've seen the shit that y'all seen about, well, Africa's not a country, but I've seen the shit y'all been talking about Africa, or any Muslim-oriented country, y'all talk shit on that too. So that doesn't make you better. It doesn't even matter what you are. Like, if you're like talking shit on another country that you've never fucking been to, just shut the fuck up. Please. Please. There's like 8 billion citizens here, and not everyone's gonna have the same fucking, like, mindset. And this is in the world. I'm saying this because it's like, you can't go around and base one leader's actions or base anything off of America and say that they suck because they're doing this and they're doing that. America is not pressuring anyone into doing anything, really. It's really, in my opinion, it's really the individual's choice. Like, for instance, in Trinidad, it's like, okay, maybe there's a lot of Starbucks down there. Maybe there's a lot of KFC down there. There's a lot of American fast foods coming. But that's also the process of globalization and stuff like that. America's not forcing you to do this, right? If you don't want to participate in that, or if you don't want to chime in on the hype and stuff like that, you don't have to as an individual. Americanization, I feel like it's real, yes, but I also feel like it's not, because I feel like that's individual choice. Like, for example, like when people are like, oh, the Jamaican accent's disappearing, oh, this and that, da, da. Mind you, all 3 million citizens are living completely different lives in Jamaica. They're all doing something different. Some of them don't even have their mind in the US, or some of them really like the US, or some of them are really just like into what's the trends are. That's another thing too. That's like what humans do. We see something, we like it, and we will do it. I don't think it's necessarily like replacing the culture, and like I said, it's more of an individual choice rather than, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that. Da, da. So because the government's doing something to your country, you don't blame that on all the citizens. That's like me saying all Chinese people are racist. There is 1 billion of them, and then there's like completely more outside of the country. Like, if one left right now, I'm pretty sure one of them would be as similar as me. If not, we'll be best friends. That's like saying all white people are racist. I can never like get through that in my head, because it's like, okay, you're also like being extremely ignorant towards another group of people that that essentially they did stuff, but essentially I would say that's more of like their ancestors or people in power that are doing it. You feel me? That's like me, and like I said, I've been to Jamaica twice. That's like me saying, oh, I really don't care for Jamaica because of the crime and the this and that. Da, da, da. Crime is not every fucking where. And you have to remember, all 3 million citizens on that island will have different opinions and different mindsets. So if they're like criminals and stuff like that, then yeah, they're going to have a mindset of criminals. What I'm saying is every country has criminals regardless of what you try to do. And I know Trinidad is with Tobago, but if we just separated Tobago away from Trinidad and just had it as an individual country, 60,000, that's 60,000 residents. That's still a huge number. Not every citizen is going to think the same. Not every person is going to do the same thing. I know none of this makes sense, but what I'm saying is it's more of an individual choice versus a country forcing something onto you. It's more of the people in power's choice. Another thing, it's like when you make videos of like, oh, the US is gonna fail, oh, you have to remember there's real people that live in this country that if that were to happen, they would suffer, and they're probably the most innocent, sweetest people ever. That'd be like me wishing that, I don't know, let's say Russia gets like nuked or something. There is like 100 million citizens in Russia. Not all of them think the same of this like communist, like, I guess, thinking that y'all think that they have. Some of them could be really fucking cool. Me personally, I know there's probably one out there that's all you like, just like me. Like, you can't like base shit off of, I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't base shit off of what your government shows you. Because I feel like our governments do a really good job of dividing us. And I don't care what race you are. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I know a lot of people in Africa, specifically Ghana and stuff like that, they're like, oh, the governments are dividing African citizens, black citizens, da, 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 da. Governments will divide every single fucking person. It doesn't even matter what fucking race you are. These people are notorious for just dividing every single group and species, because at the end of the day, we're humans. They are the ones making choices, and they're the ones putting all these ideologies and stuff like that, and we're making us, causing worldwide division. And I know at the beginning I said ignorance goes both ways. It does, but after me saying all that, it's kind of like, okay, maybe you got a point. You can't speak on other people like that. What I'm basically saying is you can't just like speak on a group of Americans or sleep on a group of people and be like, oh, they're this, oh, they're that, da, da, da. You've never been, or anything like that. Like I said, it's more of like a government thing to do so. And I feel like everyone as individuals has the right to do what they want. I don't know why I made this video. I know this is like a bunch of yapping. No points are really made, but if you want a part 2, I'll make one.